Alright, shove it squad. Before we start this video, I need to make one thing perfectly clear. I enjoy making some videos more than others. It's the reason I started my channel in the first place, because I wanted to throw some bricks around and have some fun with ideas. I love making the rebooking TNA video. It's probably the most fun I've had since ring ginking. I truly believe you do your best work when you're having fun. I don't expect loads of views for this, but I just can't stop this series. If wrestling doesn't appeal to me anymore, screw them. I'm going to run my own fantasy show and show you what a wrestling storyline driven show really looks like. And I'm going to keep doing this to get more viewers than the actual TNA Impact show. Yeah, right, that's not going to happen. So drop a like, leave a share, and leave a comment. We're going to really need it if we want to get this series off the ground. And one final reminder, this is me rebooking Impact realistically with financial implications. We can't just go out and sign AJ Styles or Slapnuts as much as I'd like to. Now I know a lot of you don't really want me to go on camera, but today I had a reason to go on camera. We have this. So, just want to thank everyone so much for helping this be possible. It's really awesome, I have to say. Sorry, there's a bit of light on the screen, there we go. So it's pretty damn cool that you helped get this. So thank you, Shove It Squad. There's honestly so much of you to thank. So hopefully consider today's video a thank you as we watch TNA Impact 2022.
It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved. It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved. It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved. It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved. It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved, man. It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved, man. It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved, man. It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved, man.
So we pick up from our last Bound for Glory show after James Storm won the world title, and he's restarted the Aces and Eights. We get a video package reminding us what happened on the last show. The ROH guys have been beaten up in a bar. What does this mean for TNA? What a match we're having here, guys. Jordan Grace is dominating Maria. Wait, what's that absolute monster Congo Kong doing back in TNA? And who are these girls that are here? Maria has screwed Jordan Grace, and she's made some new friends too. Kiss my ass, you damn pigs! You're fat! Go eat a donut, you stupid cops! Sami Callihan has slipped further into depression about what happened with the ROH guys. The arena is on lockdown. What's going to happen tonight? Is Josh Alexander going to show up? I am the Tennessee Cowboy, James Storm, the TNA World Champion. And the Aces and Eights have been my brothers all along. At Hard to Kill, the Aces and Eights won TNA contracts. What does this mean for TNA? Josh Matthews will start the show reporting that the Aces and Eights won at Hard to Kill and they all now have TNA contracts. The broadcast is interrupted mid-sentence and it cuts to the Aces and Eights in a bar. James Storm says enough of that four-eyed freak. Who gave him the right to talk about TNA? I've been here since day one, so if you want to know about TNA, you ask me. He addresses the TNA locker room and says you can either get with us or just plain get. He reminds us that Moose is his next challenger for the title. But that's not a good thing because Moose is going to wish he wasn't when Storm's finished with him. Sorry about your damn luck, Moose. Opening match will be a 4-way X Division elimination match. Jeff Hardy's stoner friend is still the champion. He's used every trick in the book to hold the young guys down. He'll face Andrew Everett, Trey Miguel and Laredo Kid. Shannon will spend most of the match hiding outside the ring and he'll make it to the final two. Shannon will then hit Laredo Kid with a brick to get the win. A lot of people are complaining at me about pushing the old Shannon more. I just wanted a veteran in there. He's going to elevate people though, just be patient. You could have Vikingo coming up to the ramp or in the ring and shaking his head at what Shannon's just done. We just want to keep their little feud going. In the back it's surfing and turfing. Rhino is complaining that he doesn't think he has what it takes to be a real surfer and he doesn't understand the new gimmick. Eddie Slapnut Edwards tells him that surfing is a way of life and he just has to ride it like a wave and see where it takes you. Deep. The most professional surfer, Brian Myers, reminds Rhino that he's only a surfer hopeful in training and he needs to embrace the culture more. He expects him to perform in their match tonight. Maria is freaking out elsewhere backstage because Scarlett Bordeaux hasn't turned up to Impact. She has sent her a text saying that she doesn't want to follow someone who she doesn't believe to be a worthy Knockouts champion. Rachel Rose reminds Maria how beautiful she is and says that she can easily get another girl to follow her. We're doing this because Scarlett's just been signed to the WWE in real life. Gotta keep it realistic here. Interview with Moose now. He isn't worried about James Storm because he's old news. Surfing and Turfing are out for a tag match now. It'll be Rhino and Myers decked out in Hawaiian shorts and they'll take on LAX 3.0. It's Slice Boogie and Santana. Yeah, we've also got Conan back in there as the kind of old head in the gimmick. We want to get some continuity on the show. The match is good action when Myers is in there, but Rhino is struggling to adapt to the new gimmick. The match ends when Rhino tries to ride Santana like a surfboard, but he loses his balance and gets rolled up. Eddie's Slapnut Edwards is livid and he tells Rhino to carry their boards to the back. He hangs his head in shame and carries the boards away. Conan has the microphone. He says it was pointless coming back to TNA because it's the same old bitches here. He spits on the American flag and hands the mic to Boogie. Boogie says nobody wants to see 50-year-old has-beens like Rhino on TV. He goes on to list his 5 most hated cities, ending with Detroit, which is of course the hometown of Rhino. He runs down Michigan for a bit before the Motor City Machine Guns music hits. They're briefly accompanied by TNA enforcer Scott Steiner. He's watching their backs because they've all been heavily involved with the Aces and Eights war. The Guns cut a funny promo saying that they may be old, but 2005 called and asked for LAX's gimmick to go away. They're all about to get it on when the Good Brothers music hits. They are the tag team champions. The Good Brothers said that both teams are pointless and they may as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone here and beat both the teams. So we get an impromptu triple threat tag match for the titles. The brothers also asked for the Aces and Eights brothers to stay in the back because they're going to win this one without any help to send a message to the tag division. This one's going to be good. After a 15-minute smash fest, something unexpected happens. Slice Boogie is fighting Doc Gallows on the outside of the ring. Both men collapse in a heap against a surfboard that was used for the surfing and turfing entrance earlier on tonight. Rhino appears and he just sees Boogie and he tries to get him and he ends up crushing both guys at once with a gore through the surfboard. The crowd chant holy shit. With both members of one team taken out, the Motor City Machine Guns managed to get the win over the smaller Good Brother. New tag team champions. Rhino is shown jumping up and down with a bodyboard in his hands and the other surfers are applauding him from the top of the ramp. Alex Shelley says that Detroit doesn't usually have much to be happy about, but tonight is a victory for everyone in Michigan. They celebrate in the crowd with Steiner. We want to make a big deal out of this. Whenever the belts change hands, it needs to be a big deal. The reason we've done this is because the Good Brothers should be leaving Impact in the next month or so in real life, and we just wanted to get the belts off them. James Storm isn't happy with the brothers for losing the belts, but he's not too upset. Storm tells them that as punishment they'll be picking up the stripper bill tonight for the Aces and Eights. He also says he needs to be cheered up, and he tells Wes and Garrett to bring General Manager Sami Callihan to the clubhouse. Now, not to take you away from the product, but I do realise that there's some wrestlers on the actual roster that I didn't address or mention. That's because I didn't have anything for them to do straight away, but they will get used over time, and speaking of that, Ace Austin is backstage screaming and crying and having a panic attack when Sami Callihan walks up to him. He's also wearing glasses too for some reason. He makes his way out to the ring, squaring up to audience members and then flipping out at the same time. We soon find out that the reason for his anger is that he's facing Shane Mercer, who we recently signed from GCW. Mercer is really one for the future at this point, and this is his TNA debut. We're going to be booking him as an unstoppable monster, and in this one he's going to throw Ace Austin all over the ring with his suplex game. But he's going to be a bit naive in the ring. This could be an excellent David and Goliath type match. Ace Austin can't land any moves, but he just about hangs in there whilst he starts to cry more and more as the match goes on. Then there's a ref bump and a double down. Ace Austin slowly crawls towards the ropes to face the Titantron and he gets a mic in his hand. He's got blood coming out his nose and his glasses have been smashed. He starts screaming, Harvey! In fact, he's almost singing it into the microphone. Everyone seems confused. A massive man suddenly makes his way out. He picks up Shane Mercer over his head and throws him through the air with a jumping powerbomb. Ace Austin makes the cover as the ref wakes up and counts to 3. The commentary team aren't 100% certain, but they think that the big guy is Madman Fulton. These two previously had an alliance, but why is Madman Fulton now being called Harvey and why is he back with Ace Austin? The masked man carries him to the back as Ace Austin continues to cut a promo. He says that's what you get for messing with me and my big brother Harvey. We want him to come across as a hateable weasel. Callihan has now arrived at the Aces and Eights clubhouse. Wes and Garrett keep flicking their bogies at him when he tries to talk. Callihan is scared and depressed and he looks like he's given up on life. Storm tells him to take Steiner and take the rest of the night off. The Aces and Eights will be in charge for the last part of the show. Callihan agrees and leaves with Steiner screaming that he can take them all if he wants to. Back with Storm, he says it's time to make 2 matches to end the show. The first will be a knockouts match, Chelsea Green against Giselle Shaw in a twerking contest. And in the main event, Moose can show if he's as bad as he thinks he is when he takes on all 3 members of Decay in a handicap match. In the Knockouts locker room, they're informed of the match, and Gianna Peraza is livid because she's battled so hard to make women's wrestling a serious sport. Her and Mia Yim agree, saying they can't stand divas, and they leave the TNA arena. Elsewhere backstage, the Decay are now in Moose's locker room, and they're licking all his possessions and performing weird rituals. Rosemary dribbles green liquid into Taurus's mouth, and then he goes nuts, smashing the dressing room to bits whilst Crazy Steve and Rosemary laugh. The twerking match is up now. Both girls make their way out. They aren't necessarily happy to be doing this, but they also want to embrace their fun sides, and they're proud of what they've got. Chelsea teases with a t-shirt around her waist, and then as she lowers the t-shirt, the lights go out. They come back on, and Maria and Rachel Rose are here performing a beatdown with a handbag full of bricks. Rachel gets the mic and explains that they're furious that TNA decided to have a twerking match and didn't invite the two most sexy divas of TNA. Rachel starts to tease that she's going to do it, and then the lights go out again. It's Jordan Grace. Grace is back from hospital. She bangs their heads together and starts to destroy them. Congo Kong wobbles out and Grace makes her escape. She has a mic in her hand and she says she wants her belt back and is disgusted in what's going on around here. And by the way, Maria and Rachel, they're knockouts, not divas. Next week she'll take apart Rachel Rose and then she's coming for Maria and her title. A quick cut back to the Aces and Eights where Storm admits that they don't care what the girls do. He does admit that they beat up Grace the other week and sent her to hospital. He says Grace can have her match next week, and by the way, the Aces and Eights aren't woman beaters. Just the main event to go. We're going to have James Storm on commentary for this one. He's our champion after all, so we need to feature him prominently. Moose taking on the Decay in a 3-on-1 handicap. We need everyone involved to look strong, because not only are we building up Moose to challenge for the world title, but we also want to make the Decay feel like more of a threat like they used to. So the best bet is to have Moose deal with Crazy Steve and Rosemary pretty easily, but find Black Taurus a challenge. Moose will hit a top rope diving spear that finally takes Taurus down. The ref hesitates before counting and looks over at Storm, who nods and gives his thumb up. The ref fast counts and that's the 3. So although Moose wins, James Storm has stolen his thunder without actually getting involved in the match. We're really trying to cut down on the amount of interference going on in matches. As much as I like the storytelling in the Attitude Era, the run-ins really pissed me off. So Storm shows that even the refs are afraid of him and his group and he can control Moose's destiny. Moose wants to celebrate when Storm stands up and puts his thumb up again. The Aces and Eights come out in full force and slam Moose for a table. We start to close out the show with Josh Matthews screaming that TNA has lost control and the Aces and Eights are running the place. The TNA locker room is shown to be just sat on their hands watching the monitors. Matt Cardona is trying to encourage them to rush the ring, but they don't feel like it's worth it as they don't actually like Moose. He's made it clear he doesn't care about them either, but nobody wants to do anything. Cardona says with Josh Alexander gone that makes him in charge of the roster, but they still refuse to move. The Aces and Eights are celebrating in a big pile under the Titantron when Vikingo appears on the structure and does a crazy dive taking out the Aces and Eights. Everyone's in shock that someone would dare to attack them. Vikingo is either brave or foolish. Storm super kicks him off the stage and raises the world title above his head smiling. And that's how we end the show. There we go, I hope you enjoyed that one. I'll try and make this a frequent show. I wasn't too sure what to do about wrestlers signing with other companies, but the aim is for this to be realistic. We're trying to give everybody storylines whilst keeping to good wrestling quality. We need to be different. Let me know what you thought down below, and don't forget to like, share and comment, or I'll smack you until you're spent.
Man, it needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved, man. It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved, man. It needs to be shoved, it needs to be shoved.